Hello, this is Cindy Jarvis, and I'm going to chat a little bit about internships leading to jobs in the sport industry for PE 557. Slide 1. Slide 2, work ethic. When we talk about the sport industry and internships, work ethic is critically important. Everyone knows other people, supervisors, managers, all know each other or have worked with each other on many occasions. So it's important that your work ethic speaks for itself. And there are a few things listed. Going above and beyond your work duties is critically important. Don't do just what's asked of you, but really reach out and do better. Being reliable is also very important, showing up on time, staying late when needed, and just always being available if there's a need. Reliability is one thing that will end an internship and will end an opportunity very quickly. So you do want that to be a key factor. And of course, performance speaks for itself. When you are high performing and you do really great work, your bosses and managers will appreciate that and will look for other opportunities where you can fit in. So performance really needs to speak for itself, but as a whole, under work ethic, is one of the key factors for success. And your skill set needs to be there in order to be successful as well. Making sure that you're learning on your own, you're researching, you're well prepared when you go into the role, and that is by a lot of different methods. That's reading up on your bosses, on your company, asking inside information from people who have worked there before, who are working there now. Have a cup of coffee with your boss or your supervisor so that you can really pick their brain and to see what makes them tick, how the company functions and works, and then how you can fit into the company best and how your skill sets can be used to benefit the company. We all know that everybody has special skills that they have. Sometimes students don't necessarily highlight those because they're intimidated or they feel a little shy about it, and that's not the way to go about making an impression. Just keep in mind, if you do have skill sets, you do want to share them. For instance, I've known students who've stepped into an internship and they go in for a certain specific role, but then we find out that they are very strong in the IT field. And when it comes to IT in any work environment, it's always an asset. So being able to help with website, whether it's design, functionality, or just maintenance, doing social media for the company, any of those types of features that you can assist with and step in are really, really important, and they cherish those. So it's a huge asset if you have a skill set beyond what you're asked to do. And then coachability is the ability for you to take constructive criticism, being able to share your thoughts in a very professional way. And the same as when we have a coach, whether it's on the softball field or on the basketball court, when a coach needs to make correction with the player, we expect the player to take that correction and use it, apply it, and then make that correction happen. So same in the workplace. When your boss gives you constructive criticism or ideas of ways things need to be done differently, please take that with a grain of salt and put your pride in your back pocket and understand we all have areas of growth and ways to learn. And that's where an employer comes from. And being coachable and being able to mold into what your boss is looking for and requiring from you is a really big key for you being successful in that company and getting a recommendation to move on to other places. Slide 3. Make yourself known, meaning don't be shy. I always tell students, if you're shy, the sport industry is the wrong field for you. Methods of making yourself known: verbally talk with your bosses, with your colleagues, not in a constructive or in a critical way, but more in a get to know you way, learning opportunity. How can I learn from you? What can you show me? And being able to communicate effectively. And that's also in your written communication, your electronic communication, how you present yourself, facial expressions, how you hold your posture. The visual method of communication is important. You don't want to be the person in the office that is standing in the corner with your arms folded and non-approachable. You want to be approachable. You always want to be the person where they will seek your advice or ask you questions. And of course, that always brings up the concept of, what if I don't know the answer? Then your response should be something like, let me find out. Let me check on it for you. Be helpful. It's really, really key for your supervisors and your bosses to respect you in the industry. Group meetings, notice boards, and text, those are all ways to communicate, make yourself known, be effective, and make yourself available. And that is through your colleagues, to your bosses, to the organization as a whole, making sure they know that they can count on you. Slide 4, networking. Networking is really important. One thing you'll hear from all of your course instructors in the sport management field is networking is key. And networking starts in the industry, it starts at your internships, and it also continues throughout your career. There are many opportunities to network, whether that is actually in the internship, when you're just out and about in the community, when you're visiting other colleges or universities, and you start talking about the sport industry and about the passion you have for sport. You'd be surprised how many people want to hold a conversation with you. And you might be surprised how many people have an insight into the industry one way or another. So taking the initiative and making every opportunity an important opportunity to share your business card, get contact information, and to follow up with people. Making sure when you meet somebody in the elevator, I often talk about the 2-minute elevator speech, where you meet an executive or someone in the sport industry. What are you going to say in that 10, 15, 20-second opportunity you have in the elevator? One of the most important things you can say is, I'm a student at Azusa Pacific University. I'm in the sport management field, and I'd love to talk with you later. Let me give you a business card. Could I get your business card also? And 9 times out of 10, that industry professional is going to be flattered, and they're going to want to help students learn a little bit more about what they do. And when you do that, when that follow-up is an email, a letter, a note, handwritten notes in the mail saying, it was great to meet you, I'd love to do coffee, can I bring you coffee, can we get together, can I pick your brain? Those are all ways that you're networking. And as you can tell from the scope of our conversation, is that you can't be shy. You really have to be able to put yourself out there and to share what you know, learn a little bit so that you can have a really genuine conversation with someone in the sport industry. And getting to know the company and the people that run it is something I just chatted about. Making sure that you do a little research, you know the people, and you're available to learn more. And you do want to make sure you step out and continually want to be in a learning mode. Slide 5. When we talk about communication, you really want to make sure that you're on the same page with your supervisors and understand what they're looking for and how you can help them provide that. Making sure that you're talking with your superiors weekly, every couple of weeks, and checking in. Oftentimes, supervisors are busy and they won't have the time to set lock-in meeting times with you, but you can on occasion check in with them. And as the student, I highly recommend setting a date on your phone so that you can lock in an alarm that says it's time to check in with your supervisor. And you can have a simple conversation like, how am I doing? Are there any areas over the last month you think I could improve on? What are some ways I can get better? Are there different opportunities you'd like me to try out? Those are all very helpful ways to reach out, but it opens that line of communication with your boss so that they know that you are invested in the company and you're invested and you're loyal to them. You also want to know if you can contribute more. You want to know what it is that you need help with too. You really want to be able to, and this is where you take constructive criticism and you really listen to what's being said without being offended, but say, thank you for letting me know. I will work on that. That's an area where a lot of students often have hurt feelings and then they don't hear the message effectively. And then it goes over their head and they've gotten their feelings hurt and they missed the opportunity to learn and to grow. So very key ideas there. Don't be shy, like I mentioned. This is not an industry to be shy. You want to make sure you're reaching out on a continual basis. Next slide, slide 6. And when we talk about internships leading to jobs in the sport industry, you do want to know about job placement. So what are the next steps? How does it work and where do you get your feet planted? Well, at APU, the sport management program is a wonderful place to be because you have that opportunity to reach out to get internships, to use leverage amongst the professors and the instructors. They can help guide you, point you in the right direction of what you're interested in, whether it be community sport, collegiate sport, Olympic sport, professional sport, sport retail. All different aspects of the industry are really at your fingertips. There are a lot of jobs out there. You just have to figure out what it is you'd like to do, what direction you'd like to go in, and work at it. Everybody starts at the bottom, and that's almost a cliche these days, but it's absolutely true. You don't ever step into any industry, middle management or upper management, making $75,000 to $100,000 a year out of college. It doesn't happen. You may think that that's reality, but in fact it's not. And so you do want to be a hard worker, and your parents and your grandparents will tell you the same thing. Hard work leads to success, and everybody has to work from the bottom up. So internships are your best opportunity to get your feet planted somewhere. It allows you to make networking connections. It allows you to learn on the job. It allows you to build your resume, which gives you that growth that an employer is looking for. And a lot of folks will say, I just had an internship, it's not that important. It really is important because it does give you job experience. And it is valuable on a resume to share what you've worked on and what capacity. Whether you were paid or not really isn't the key. It's experience that means the world. So those are very, very key points on getting a job in the sport industry. Slide 7. And the one thing that a lot of folks really want to know is salary expectations. And as we unveil the curtain here, you'll see that in the sport industry, you're looking at entry-level positions at $38,000 to $45,000, sometimes with benefits, meaning medical, dental, sometimes a pension plan, a lot of times not, but these are starting points to get in the industry. There are a lot of perks when you look at making a lower end salary, some things that you cannot buy, and that's opportunity to network, to build your resume, to get valuable experience. And there's a lot of perks involved in there as well in the sport industry. Tickets to the games, you get to watch events, you get to hobnob with celebrities a lot of times. But the networking is really critical because when you're in the industry, even at the lower end levels, you're actually interacting with people at higher end levels left and right. And it's invaluable to have that experience. Next slide, 8. And in conclusion, I just want to share that you're in the right spot at APU Sport Management Program because that's where you'll get noticed. Making a great impression at your internships, digging in, rolling your sleeves up, and opening your eyes and ears to learn on the job site are ways for you to really be successful. And it's really worth your time to invest in an internship because it does help and it is a stepping stone to your future. 3 helpful hints before we conclude is get noticed. The quiet ones are never remembered. Don't be quiet. Make sure your bosses, your supervisors, and those around you know your name. Do great work, not good work, not okay work. Do outstanding work that stands by itself when it is turned in and when you're asked to do something. It's not a college project that you're turning in for grading. There's a misconception there that your boss will grade your work and send it back for revisions. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for a completely professional, polished piece that is ready to present or ready to implement. So that's where you do great work. You don't expect corrections. You expect it to be perfect when it goes in to your boss's office. And lastly, again, emphasizing networking. Networking is really critical to stepping stones. And when I say stepping stones, I mean every place where you are entering into the sport industry really is a stepping stone to future opportunities. Some people land their dream job and they stay there for 20 or 30 years. That's very rare. Most people will go into the industry and hop around a little bit, jumping up, and I call that stepping stones because every job should lead to something bigger, better the next time around. And God has a plan in that, and I really believe that. And if you listen to God's plan and you follow His lead, the networking is helpful, but things will open up for you. Do great work. Have a great evening.